Fat loss in your 50s is not fat loss in your 20s, and like, duh, Adam, we can tell. But what do you do about that? And if you're interested in getting a more one-on-one individual assessment to figure out what would be best guidance and steps forward for you individually, because we all have unique things that we can work on. Some of us need to prioritize some stuff over others. Go ahead and click the link below, and we'll have you out here for a health history and assessment and a full-blown strategy session where we can help out as best we can. And obviously we do want you to sign up, but if you don't, totally understand. We just want to help. So go ahead and click that link below. But after 50, things change. Your appetite changes, your recovery changes, your joints, they do change. Age changes things. Your endocrine system is different. Your metabolism is different. You're not going to be able to just eat less and get a ton of results for an extended period of time. Your body is basically, that like the average person in the United States tries 8 different diets a year. The average. That means that someone out there is like 16, 20, 30, and 8 times a year, that's almost once a month, or I guess that's kind of a nice way of looking at it. That's almost once, that's over every other month. So there's a couple problems there. For one, to see if a nutrition, like a diet, like a lifestyle, we really look more at lifestyle. Like, how do we change it so that you can continue it forever? But let's say that you go on a diet, 6 weeks probably isn't enough time to really gauge if it super worked or not, so you would have to commit to it for longer than that. On top of that, most of these diets are simply just restricting calories, and you can say, oh, keto doesn't work on calories, it works on food type. It's like, yes, but really you're getting rid of all your carbohydrates that you could have been eating. You're restricting calories in the sense that you got rid of most of the carbohydrates that you would have eaten anyway. You can do the same thing with the vegan diet. They're just getting rid of the protein. So I think you see what I mean there. Like, you're just taking this huge macronutrient group, throwing it down and living on the other 2, and you wonder why you lost weight. Well, that's why. And you wonder why you didn't. Well, it's probably because if you did go keto and you increased your fat consumption up to the amount that you were eating in carbohydrates, you had a net change of 0, so nothing changed. It's like, okay, understandable. It's not really all that complicated. However, after that initial stage of, okay, I dropped my food intake a little bit and it worked, because it will, because a lot of the thermodynamics are going to change, but your body did adjust at some point. And then progress is not going to continue to change past this point. So we need to figure out a new strategy at that point to figure out how you're going to make changes from there. Because it's kind of like getting stronger. So like, if all we did was lift weight and we just increased 1 pound every day, well, eventually we're going to top out on that. So we're going to make progress. Like, if you just did 1 pound, let's say you did a squat every single day, and you just increased 1 pound, you would get very strong before you failed on one of those days. However, at some point, we need to start like clear back at the beginning and let the body recover, or we need to change the speed of the weight that we're moving, or the number of reps, or the tempo that you're using, or we're going to have to change something. We can't just keep on making progress forever and ever and ever. And it's the same thing with trying to lose, the adipose tissue on your body. Is that the politically correct way to say it now? But if you're trying 8 different things all the time, your body is just like, what's going on? We have no idea. So we have to get some stable datums in there, and then we have to build some strategy, and we have to do things a little bit different. At 19, your body's going to respond so quick. In your 50s, it's just not going to respond nearly as fast. That doesn't mean that you can't still make great progress. You can do a lot of great things. And one of the easiest things is to focus on food type, but there are a plethora of others. So that's one. So we said strength training is the thing. Now, what about your joint health? Because you can't just go in and say, okay, I'm just going to do 1,000 curls a day, and I'm going to lift this bodybuilder program that I pulled off the internet. And I Googled this, so it must work. It worked for her. It's going to work for me, right? Doesn't quite work like that. You don't have that girl on Instagram that looks like a bombshell. Well, she's probably been working at that for a very long time, and she's probably had a lot of coaches in the meantime, and she's gotten a lot of education around it, and she's built up to that. You're probably going to need some guidance too. She got guidance. You're probably going to need guidance. If you want to get to where you want to go. Not to say that you can't get there on your own, just it's going to be a lot easier. You're going to not beat your head against the wall. You're probably going to have less injuries. You're probably going to get there faster than you normally would have just by yourself. So anyway, how do you do it without sacrificing your joint? That's where the assessment process comes in. And I hate to even speak on that because one of the things that is kind of annoying on the internet is all these people that are just like, oh, if you just do this, it's just making it sound so black and white. Like, oh, if you just do this. And yeah, that might work for like 60, 70% of the population, but the 30% that it doesn't work for is just gonna get them injured. And I hate to give you information that would get you injured, but for the most part, stay away from pain. Pain is not weakness leaving the body. That's not what it is. Pain is a signal that's saying, hey, something's not right here, please stop. And then the less you listen to it, it's probably a lot like your significant other. If you don't listen to your significant other and they keep on saying, please stop, please stop, please stop, please stop, eventually there's this big blow up. Well, pain is the exact same way. Your body is really a lot like, your muscles are a lot like people. Your joints are a lot like people. If you just came up to me on the street and slapped me across the face, that first slap is like, okay, well, I didn't see that coming. But the next time you walk up to me on the street, I'm probably gonna be a little weary, right? Well, your muscle is the same way. It's gonna be a little tense because it doesn't want to get hurt again. So something to consider there. You don't just want to beat the crap out of your body. It's not going to give you the response that you want, and you're imposing a certain stress that you want to get on the back end. So the stress that we want to be very, very strategic about that, just like our nutrition. We don't want to just drop calories down and starve it out and be like, okay, now you lost a bunch of weight, way to go, yay, let's celebrate. No, the backswing on that is going to be not so great. So we want to think strategically about how we get to where we want to go in terms of fat loss. And then we want to think strategically about how we get to where we want to go in terms of strength training. Because if it doesn't help you perform, what's the point of doing it? If it doesn't help your endocrine system, what's the point of doing it? If it doesn't help your joints feel better, what's the point of doing it? Also, these two things together, the nutrition and the strength training portion, they should help you sleep a little bit better. And this is the last one that I was going to talk on. And the sleep thing is different in your 50s than it was in your 20s. Things are different. Life is different. Things are different. You have different stressors, right? In the world today, I don't think it's ridiculous to utilize some of the supplementation that is out there that is of natural means, that is going to be of net positive to your body. So a couple of things that you can try. You can try zinc, you can try magnesium, you could even go so far as try a 5-HTP or a gamma aminobutyric acid. I know that's a mouthful, but all of these things, I would start with the zinc and magnesium. Fair warning, you might have some weird dreams. It just lets you sink into like a deeper level of sleep. It doesn't actually put you to sleep. A lot of these medicines that are out there that do put you to sleep kind of tend to keep you down. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. And it's almost like you're playing like chemical warfare with your brain. You know, your body desires sleep, your mind desires sleep. So what's on the other side of sleep that we're so scared of that we want to avoid it? So I didn't want to get too deep on you there, but there's something there. Maybe we need to try some meditation, or maybe we should do some visualization. Maybe we need to do some other things. One thing that you can do is read fiction before you go to bed instead of watching a movie, because then your mind has to create the areas of your mind when you're reading fiction are actually the areas of mind that are on fire when you're in your first levels of sleep. So something to consider. Maybe that would help you. I do not know. But anyway, this video is getting kind of long. I just wanted to go through some simple ways that we can look at sleep, strength training, and nutrition that can be a benefit in and how you're looking at them when you're over 50 versus when you're in your 20s. When you're in your 20s, you're like this fire breather that can go through anything. When you're in your 50s, you have to look at it differently. You have to look at it from a long-term perspective, because when you're in your 20s, it's very difficult to see yourself 30 years from now. But when you're in your 50s, you can definitely see yourself in 30 years. What are you going to look like then, and what you're going to feel like then, and how you're going to perform then is very much how and what you do now. So consider what you do now, do the absolute best you can. Let us help. It's a free assessment. Come out here and we'll sit down, we'll do a full-blown health history, and we'll help you out as best we can. Obviously, we want you to sign up, but we totally understand if you don't. We just want to be able to give you guidance. Anyway, to do that, go ahead and click below.